when I have my initial conversations with people who are in that overwhelmed space, I ask them if they remember Clippy or when's the last time they used spell check.
Hi everyone, Elle Ballard is here today on the Empowered Global Women in Business podcast with my guest Heather. Hi Heather, aloha, all the way from Hawaii. Great to have you. I'm excited for this conversation. So Heather Di Rocco is AI maven behind Insure Bot Solutions, an AI 101 on the school platform. She transforms AI fear into confidence, guiding small business owners to save time, reduce stress, and thrive. Her journey from military intelligence to entrepreneur highlights resilience, empowerment, and global connection. How did you start doing this work? And now that a little bit of the background that explains it, I didn't know that. But how did your experience bring you to this work that you're doing today?
So I'm a little woo-woo sometimes, and I absolutely believe that everything that happened to me brought me to this space. So I worked for military intelligence for 20 years. My last job was I was always a civilian. I was here in Hawaii. I'd worked with a lot of big data and investigations and using technology to really deep dive into investigative material. So, when I moved out here, COVID happened and the job changed, the military changed, the government, I mean, it's in the middle of changing again right now. So, it was 20 years. I wasn't qualify to completely retire with benefits or any of that, but I will be getting a pension. Well, we'll see. I decided to take another journey. I had done some finance. I worked for Oppenheimer Funds before I started working for the military. I'm originally from New York City. So someone suggested life insurance. And while I didn't feel that that was truly my place, I found Go High Level, which is a customer relationship management system. And I started hooking AI chatbots before Go High Level had all the AI in there to answer um, text messages for me. And that was before you had to go into OpenAI and program a bot and then hook it up with Zapier. So before it was super easy to do with everything, I was messing around. I found another platform to help people for another project I was working on to find their ideal clients using an AI powered demographic database to find them on Facebook and LinkedIn. So that was sort of my beginnings with this. But those are all taking you through all those threads. We don't have time for that for this second part. That's the beginning.
Well, that's great. I didn't know that also. Thank you for sharing. That makes sense. Totally. And I know you're so knowledgeable and I love the value you give on your platform to the clients that you serve. And of course it's so timely, right? The whole conversation and so many changes happening so fast. And the question I have is if a woman entrepreneur listening to this conversation right now and she feels that's right, I'm so overwhelmed, I feel so overwhelmed by AI, what is it very and she didn't even touch it, she doesn't want to touch it because she's overwhelmed, she doesn't know where to start, what is the very first thing you would tell her to do?
I would say, let's try it out together. And I like explaining AI in a way when I have my initial conversations with people who are in that overwhelmed space. I ask them if they remember Clippy or when's the last time they use spell check. AI is just a really fancy form of that. Clippy was trained on a dictionary and a writing style manual, if you remember Clippy from Microsoft. And, and spell check is trained on a dictionary. So you put your word in that you're trying to spell. It's trained on the computer's trained on a dictionary, and the dictionary in spell check gives its best guess on what you're trying to spell based on the dictionary. Now, where AI differs from that is it's trained on so much. So I'm sure I'm not the only one who puts a word into spell check. Spell check has no idea what I'm trying to spell. And then I take different guesses at, oh, maybe the D goes there, maybe the T goes there, maybe I'm mixing it up. So if you were using AI, what you could do is, because its knowledge base is so much bigger, is say, I don't know how to spell a word that means that I learned something from a class or a book. And then, and it's the letter K is the beginning of the word, it would guess that you're trying to spell knowledge. So
Mhm.
it's just fancier version of spell check. So that's when I say that, that usually takes a lot of fear out of using the AI.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good explanation. Yeah. What's your go-to AI productivity tool?
Right now, it's a platform called Perplexity. And as
Mhm.
of, I think yesterday still, you can get Perplexity Pro for free if you log into PayPal and sign up for a new Perplexity account. So
Ah,
the reason I like Perplexity, and especially their paid version that you can get free for a year now, is you have access to the pro versions of everything. So you have ChatGPT 5, you have Gemini 2.5, which you can
mm,
make those cute little videos. Your data isn't throttled as much. So, like, let's say you want to make 100 images, because you're on the pro plan, you have more access. And with Perplexity, its deep research is amazing, and it all comes out with where it found the deep research. It's much faster than Google's deep research, probably about the same as ChatGPT's. But what it has is the labs portion, and that's actually why I started paying for it before they had this big sale that they're having with PayPal. Is it can create many apps for you, and it can solve so many problems
wow.
with a little bit of code. Like, for example, I was at a
Mhm.
networking event and someone came up to me and asked, hey, I need a form that's well researched that I can use for OSHA inspections. So, what Perplexity was able to do was I put it in research mode to research OSHA standards for a inspection. Then I moved it into labs, and it created an app that this individual could then use, fill it out, and then they could press print, and it would give them a PDF of the inspection. All of that took maybe about 15 minutes.
Amazing. Thank you for that. I haven't heard of that myself, so I'll have to look into it. I know you're always so knowledgeable, Heather. Love talking to you and learning new things and always on top of things. And my last question when it comes to AI, the book, and I didn't even know there are books on AI now. Are there any books you recommend reading for those who are starting? Getting to know. And yeah, you mentioned the video. I remember very cute videos that I think you're still making them in different parts of the
Mhm.
world. It's so cool. And the prompts. Um, I remember, I think you were recommending some of the prompts at our event in Hawaii, and then the newsletter that I've started using.
What I recommend for
Mhm.
business owners who aren't sure if AI is right for them, there's a very well researched book called All In on AI. And it's a case study of 5 different companies who integrated AI into their workforce. The reason I really like this book was it showed how they were able to upskill their employees, still keep the personalization, and start using the automation to make all of their employees a little more effective. And I think my favorite was the bank, where initially you came to a chatbot, it did a triage of the situation, it could offer the customer an immediate result if it was a smaller problem, so no more waiting on hold, etc.
Mm.
But the AI understood if the problem was beyond its capabilities and it would transfer that person to the call center. But everything in the chat was already there. So the call center individual was prepared to help that bank customer. Um, I think on the scary side is the story of the insurance companies using AI, because traditionally they've been going on statistics of what is most likely to happen. Now they can use AI for deep research, also deep research on yourself to see what kind of risk you personally are instead of the average risk of a woman who's in her
Mm.
40s driving,
Right.
etc. So
Wow.
now it's it's personalized. So if you, I mean, great if you lead a non-risky life, but if you're a risk taker, it could be more expensive for you.
Yeah, I can go against. Yeah, in terms of the fees and everything. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. Huh. Hmm. Okay, great. Thank you for the book suggestion. I like that. And yeah, and so my own thing is usually the prompts. I think there's so many questions when it comes to AI. I can talk for hours. I can to ask you all this, and I think you're sharing some in your community as well on the prompts to use. Depending how the question is asked, the answer will be received. So the better the prompt, or maybe running the answer a couple times, right, to perfect it. How does one person know how to build a prompt properly to get the good answer?
If you're starting out, the best way is to say, your role is X. I want to accomplish Y. Then this last part is the most important, and no matter what you're doing, ask me additional questions to understand the output I want. So that
Hmm.
way you don't have to be an expert on
Mm,
prompting. The
that's good.
AI will talk to you and talk you through it. So, like, for example, there was something I read about today that I wanted an answer, and I just put in, what is the new recording feature? And it's a new feature for ChatGPT. I assumed it would understand that I was talking about ChatGPT because I'm talking to ChatGPT. Well, it didn't understand. It said, are you talking about X, Y, or Z? And I didn't give it context. I didn't say, what is the new recording feature in ChatGPT that just came out? So, because I asked a vague question, it didn't know what to spit out at me. And I teach this stuff and I still do it. So that's why I say, ask me additional questions. And honestly, the AI has gotten better and it asks you, what are you talking about? You put this in. Here's like 3 or 4 things, like the spell check. These are 3 or 4 things I think you're trying to spell, but I need some more context to get on point with you.
That's a good. Okay, thank you for that. I have to try it on my end. Thank you. Awesome. Building a business for yourself, by yourself, on your own terms. How has this experience been for you? And if there is one big lesson that you want to share with our audience today that you learned in the process.
Contracts are important. Some of the stories I didn't share was the Ponzi scheme I got involved in. The guy that accused me from stealing people out of a Facebook group. And it's because I didn't have things in writing. So I just trusted. And I think a lot of times as females, we trust. We want to believe the
Mm.
best in people, but put it in writing. Don't don't take on someone's word or let them say, "Hey, this email is good enough," or "We wrote it on this cocktail napkin, and you'll be fine." No, you won't be fine. Put it in writing. Get it docu-signed, so that way you have a leg to stand on. If something goes wrong, I've just had a
Yeah.
lot of luck in things going wrong.
The contracts is I don't hear often, but it's just so important to put anything in writing. So for those of you listening to our podcast today, wanting to connect to Heather, we will post links on how to connect with her and her community. She's a wealth of knowledge, and you can see she knows so much, and she's just provides so much value in her community. But for those people who are looking, Heather, did you want to tell us also here in the recording how they can find you?
So I run an AI 101 community on the platform School. It is a little difficult, their search engine. So you're better off just finding me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. Just look Heather Di Rocco. And there's actually three of us. If you put Heather Di Rocco AI, you're going to find me. But if you put Insure Bot Solutions too, you're almost guaranteed to find me because I've been quite active and Google knows where I live.
Is there anything you want to share with our audience today?
Don't let your mindset hold you back. Don't be, well, that's scary. Don't stay in that safe space and reach out. Reach out to people like Elle in this community. Um, Everyone needs a mentor, and you don't have to go it alone and afraid. I mean, you could build your own mentor with AI now, but having that human connection, I really think is overlooked sometimes. And we're building a chapter out here of Women of the World, sort of offshoot of it. And I love getting together with my sisters twice a month to talk and really be in community, and there's just something about being in person, in community, that I think was stolen from us for a couple of years. It makes me appreciate it even more.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, and thank you for bringing that. It's so true. We can use the tools, we can um, everything, ask questions, get answers, but the human touch and feel, and when we get together and share, you cannot replace that for sure. Yeah, sisterhood is so important. Community is so important. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to move to the rapid fire questions. And you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Your favorite book name is?
Oh, my favorite fiction book is definitely The Sun Also Rises. And the last line of the book is, "Isn't it pretty to think so?" And
Oh.
for a long time, I'm like, oh, isn't it pretty to think so? I wish it would be. Now I take it totally. Isn't it pretty to think so? And let's act on that thought.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. Yes, action. Yes, taking action. Love it. Beach or mountains?
Oh, beach. I'm in Hawaii.
Yes. Summer or winter?
Again, summer. I never want to see snow ever again.
Favorite international destination to visit?
Ooh. You know what? I in recently I've been to Japan twice and I just love it out there. I lived in Europe for about 13 years and I loved it out there. So put me on a plane and take me anywhere.
I love it. Japan came twice this week. Maybe I need to go visit. Just saying. Okay, so and then my final question is things that you have discovered about yourself recently. Things that you have discovered about yourself recently.
As much as I think I've gained a whole lot of confidence, I still find myself second guessing sometimes, and I don't know why I'm still stuck in that place of fear. So I really think it shows me I have some work to do, and I think that's all of us. We all still have some work to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for sharing openly, and thank you for playing, and thank you for coming and sharing all the knowledge. And I always have questions because it's evolving so fast, and it's a great tool. But yeah, because it's grows so fast, I think we forget sometimes on to just going back to the basics and start simple. But thank you, Heather. Connect with Heather, our audience, our listeners. She's very knowledgeable. I love talking to her on AI. Thank you again, Heather. Good to see you today.
Oh, thank you, Elle.
I'll see you all very soon.